Dallas County was ravaged last October when several tornadoes traveled for 15 miles across North Dallas, destroying homes and businesses for the next half hour. It was 6 o'clock when the warning sirens began. Deb Starnes and her husband John were sitting on the couch at home, watching TV.
People know what to do. It's Texas. And we knew pretty quickly we needed to go over there or over there. Which of the two places were windowless and the best place to go. So we went fairly quickly.
Moments after they safely made it to the closet,
as we were walking down that hallway, he heard a popping noise.
Their front window shattered open. A half hour or so later, the skies began to clear, but the debris was still there to remind them. The Starnes joined their neighbors out on their lawns. Everyone was surveying the damage.
Everybody in the neighborhood has a story, and the couple behind us had just got married last year and had just moved into the house, only been there a few months.
The whole county feels lucky that no one was killed or seriously injured in the storms, but there's still plenty of work to be done.
People needed help.
Dylan Hughes began helping out neighborhoods affected by the tornado the next day.
At like 7 in the morning, I get a text message from the missions pastor of our church, and he calls out, he's calling for a bunch of people to come help him. And I'm like, well, I have work this morning. I work all day, actually. But I think they'd be okay if I skipped work for this. And so I skipped work. I called in, don't worry. And then I went and helped out for that whole day, and there was so many people there. They were helping. There was the Texas Baptist men. There was people from our church. It was just a great effort, a cooperative effort.
Dylan and his church worked with sanitation services, the cities of Richardson and Dallas's Fire and Rescue, the Texas Baptist Men, and other local organizations to clear trees and debris, put up tarps and plywood, and help figure out what to do next. There are a lot of resources to help with money and necessities when you're a victim of a natural disaster, but nearly all of them require birth certificates, social security cards, and other forms of identification. Insurance companies also need proof of what a victim owns before they can begin to help out monetarily. Most victims of tornadoes aren't prepared to show paperwork to authorities. After a storm of that magnitude, files could be anywhere. That's something Kim Calloway is trying to change. Calloway is a professional organizer in the Dallas suburb of Lancaster. She's also a tornado victim herself. Early afternoon on April 3, 2012, her family's home was completely demolished by an F2 tornado.
All you saw was bricks everywhere. Bricks, glass, nails, wood. I mean, it didn't even look like a house. It looked like a war zone. It really looked like a bomb went off, or like the gas or something exploded and everything, it went everywhere.
The F scale ranges from F0 to F5, with F2 labeled considerably damaging. But scales don't really matter when your house is no longer standing.
The walls were falling, down. It just like a pickle jar. When you open a pickle jar and you hear that shh, and it like took the roof, and I'm like looking up and I'm like, oh. By this time, I'm just like in disbelief, total disbelief. At first, it was hard enough because you hear boom, boom, you hear the walls crashing. Now, most people feel that their home is their safe haven. You're in your home, you have 4 walls, you have a roof. So you're fine, you're safe. You know, you're safe from the bad guys, you're safe from the elements, whatever, go home if anything happens. But once you're at home and something like a tornado comes, Mother Nature is no joke. When Mother Nature came through and knocked this house down, it took 30 seconds, not a minute, 2, 3, 30 seconds to knock down a brick house.
As an organizer, Calloway spends her time making sure people are prepared for the worst. Because of her preparedness, her family was able to quickly grab their personal documents and a fresh pair of clothes and get out of harm's way.
The experience itself taught me, one, you want to be prepared. You really, really want to be prepared. So anytime the weather gets bad and it's raining and they're like, it's a thunderstorm, you're looking at the news and there's a thunderstorm, I usually get on the phone and call my friends, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, okay, Kim, I know, I get it. I'm like, yeah, it's raining, get your tennis shoes out, put some jeans on. And they're like, it's gonna be okay. I know it's gonna be okay, but put your jeans on and pull your tennis shoes out. Just make me happy. Just do it. And they're like, okay, Kim, I got it. So, whether they really do it or not, I don't know. But that is what I do.
Reminding her loved ones to stay prepared before a big storm isn't the only way Calloway has changed her behavior after the tornado. She also found herself suffering from PTSD. She and her husband made the decision to install a tornado safe room in their garage. The Calloway's room is made of 1/4-inch steel, bulletproof, and has several exits so that even if it's toppled over in a storm, occupants will not be stuck inside. Calloway says the room has given her peace of mind.
Your mind keeps going back to you hiding, crouching down, looking around, you're scared, stuff is falling. That plays over and over and over in your mind until you do something to situate yourself. So I spoke with a psychologist, and that helped, but I was always fearful after. So after that, I bought the tornado shelter, and that's what did it for me. Once I bought that shelter, I was fine. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. So if something happens now, I just go out there and I sit there. Like you see how our garage, I'm an organizer, so stuff is always in and out, in and out. So I have to keep my garage clear. So I can beeline from here straight to that tornado shelter, which is bolted down into the ground. It's not going anywhere. So, and it's also bulletproof. So if anything ever happens, like The Purge, that movie.
For the victims of the October tornadoes, insurance money is still coming in, the mess is still being cleaned up, and peace of mind is still forthcoming.
The thing that I guess I didn't realize at the time was you think, oh, okay, we've had a tornado. I didn't realize that I'd be sitting in my house 4 months later, still all torn up, with still a lot of stress. Trying to get things fixed is extremely stressful. That was the thing that I wasn't prepared for, was the fact that months later you'd still be dealing with the issues.
According to FEMA Logistics Management Specialist Julie Blum, there are several stages to building a community back up after a tornado hits. The first stage is called recovery. During this time, FEMA will set up a recovery center for immediate assistance. Then FEMA goes door to door and gets a count to register tornado victims for assistance. Meanwhile, the county, school districts, and cities will send damage cost estimations to the government while FEMA does their own estimation. In order to get help from the federal government, this tornado would have needed to cause over $38.5 million in damages. The state of Texas estimated damages of up to $190 million, while FEMA's estimation was closer to $33 million. This was a blow for Dallas County.
I would say the first 3 months, every time I drive through the neighborhood, I just kind of go, ugh. It is frustrating how slow it's going, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. But still, it's sad to see. Mostly, I feel bad for my neighbors to see all of their whole house out on the sidewalk.
The governor's office announced they will be appealing the decision, but this next one may not come in for a few months. For NT Daily News, I'm Caroline Cluis.